Fire release. Fire release is literally the most iconic nature in the whole series. To pull off a fire jutsu, a ninja has to totally mold their chakra inside the body, flip it into pure heat energy, and then control the burn with absolute precision. The real gap between an average ninja and a true fire release master is all about control. Legends like Madara Uchiha could straight up launch massive fireballs that cover the whole damn sky, while rookies can barely spit out some tiny sparks. Fire release can absolutely turn into walls of flames for defense, giant fire dragons, or even scorching clouds of ash that blind and choke the enemy. The Uchiha clan is hands down the best at fire release in the Leaf, with the Sarutobi clan coming right after them. Overall, this nature isn't super flexible and its combat effectiveness isn't insanely high. But fire release can still interact with the environment in totally creative ways. Sasuke even used it to change the actual weather, setting up the perfect storm for his lightning release finisher, that insane technique known as Kirin.
Now, if you've made it this far, welcome to the amazing world of anime. This is the place for true fans like you, where we celebrate all the magic, action, and emotions anime brings to our lives. You've watched, you've felt the hype, you've been lost in these beautiful fantasy worlds, but, have you hit that subscribe button yet? Right now, almost 90% of you are watching without subscribing. Just imagine, if everyone hits sub, we could build one of the strongest anime communities out there. So go ahead, click that subscribe button right now so you won't miss any new episodes, deep dive breakdowns, or awesome anime content coming your way. Thank you so much. Wind release. Wind release is underrated. It doesn't explode like fire or electrocute like lightning, but make no mistake, it cuts. Razor-sharp wind can slice through defenses, weapons, and even cells. Yes, cells. Ask Kakuzu. He got the full experience, courtesy of Naruto's Rasen Shuriken. Wind chakra is manipulated to form blades of compressed air. It's a clean element, focused, tactical, and perfect for ranged or precision attacks. Ninjas like Tamari turn it into art, using giant fans to unleash windstorms that send entire squads flying. And then, Naruto takes wind release to the next level. His Rasen Shuriken is destructive. It attacks on a microscopic level, severing chakra pathways inside the body. It was so dangerous, even Tsunade told him never to use it again. Naturally, he ignored that. Then upgraded it with Sage Mode and 6 Paths power. That's Naruto for you. Wind works wonders in the air, blowing away shuriken, deflecting arrows, and creating massive range control. But it has a fatal weakness to fire. Wind feeds flame, which means your own attack might make the enemy stronger if they use Kaiten. So, yeah, don't bring a fan to a firefight.
Lightning release. Lightning release straight up represents pure speed and absolute piercing power in the ninja world. It works by totally flipping chakra into raw electricity, and that energy creates combat effects that are basically impossible to defend against. Just look at Kakashi's Chidori to see how insanely strong lightning release really is. This jutsu packs all that lightning chakra into the palm, turning the user's hand into a lightning spear that can pierce through literally anything. Sasuke leveled Chidori up even further, shaping lightning chakra to strike from range, or spreading it around his body to fry enemies up close. But the true peak of lightning release is Kirin, a technique that controls natural lightning itself, with destructive power big enough to literally wipe out a whole mountain. Kumogakure is the true stronghold of lightning release, home to some of the scariest warriors ever. The 4th Raikage used lightning release chakra mode to wrap his entire body in electricity, creating an almost unbreakable armor while boosting his speed to totally superhuman levels. The 3rd Raikage's Hell Stab was straight up called the strongest spear because nothing could actually stop that attack. When you mix it with water release, the results get even crazier. Water conducts electricity, spreading the lightning damage to a massive area. That's exactly why the Hozuki clan, the masters of water release, were always at a huge disadvantage against lightning users. Earth release. The earth release is honestly the most underrated chakra nature out there. This is the art of totally manipulating the entire terrain around you, from soft grains of sand to granite hard as steel, and even flipping them from one state to another at will. The true insane power of earth release comes from how it reshapes the battlefield to match the user's will. When an earth release user puts their hand on the ground, they basically become the lord of the whole damn fight. They can create massive rock domes to trap enemies, muddy pits to swallow opponents alive, or insanely solid fortifications to block incoming attacks. Remember when Kitsuchi used a mountain-sized chunk of earth to crush his targets? That was a perfect demonstration of Earth Release's raw destructive power. Iwagakure is the true kingdom of Earth Release masters, and every ninja there has a totally unique way of using Earth materials. Deidara twisted clay into deadly explosive art. Onoki could manipulate gravity itself with just a touch, and Akatsuchi summoned giant rock golems like colossal guardians. During the Third Shinobi World War, Iwanin were famous for their brutal cave-in tactics, collapsing huge tunnels and caves with just Earth Release. And yeah, that's exactly how Obito got crushed and lost half his body. Earth Release is absolutely strongest when fighting Water Release, since Earth can absorb and neutralize water completely. But it's super vulnerable to Lightning Release because the impurities in Earth conduct electricity. That's literally why Sasuke beat Deidara. Tough luck for a guy who spent his whole life trying to counter the Sharingan. Water Release. Water Release is the chakra nature of absolute adaptability and perfect flow control. You know how water can exist in literally any form, any pressure, and slip into every single crack. That's exactly why Water Release users are insanely unpredictable in combat. On a large scale, water can totally unleash crushing damage like mini tsunamis. But when compressed into high-pressure streams, it can slice through steel like invisible blades. Tobirama Senju showed what real mastery looks like when he could literally generate water from his own chakra, a skill straight-up considered proof of Hokage-level expertise. Kirigakure is the real stronghold of Water Release, and every ninja there has a unique spin on water manipulation. Kisame flexed with water shark bullets and like 20 other water jutsu. The Hozuki clan used the hydrification technique to turn their bodies into liquid for near invincibility. And Utakata rolled with soap bubble ninjutsu for tactical applications nobody could predict. This is literally the most flexible nature out there, but sadly one of the most underrated when it comes to screen time. And that wraps up the 5 basic chakra natures. Almost every shinobi can use at least one element, but some clans and insanely talented individuals can fuse 2 together. That fusion creates a completely new chakra nature known as Kekkei Genkai. Ice Release. Ice Release is the fusion of Water Release and Wind Release, creating a Kekkei Genkai that's both absolutely beautiful and deadly beyond imagination. Unlike normal ice, this stuff can resist fire attacks, keep its structure even under insane heat, and be manipulated with total precision. The Yuki clan was once feared throughout the Land of Water because of the terrifying power of Ice Release. Haku perfectly demonstrated this with his demonic mirroring ice crystals, a technique where he creates mirrors of ice and teleports between them at instant speed. It's not just a defensive move, it's also an assassination tool that's insanely deadly, turning Haku into a phantom. Ice Release users can literally lower the temperature of the entire area, causing snowfall and freezing the moisture in the air. Kahyo showed this off when she planted ice particles into her targets, forcing them to constantly burn chakra just to stay warm. Basically, a slow death sentence you can't escape. Ryogi even dropped his own body temperature to dodge thermal detection, making Ice Release the ultimate stealth weapon. Wood Release is the combo of Earth and Water Release, and it's literally the art of turning chakra into the source of life itself. This is the only chakra nature that can actually create living things out of nothing. Hashirama. Senju proved just how insanely powerful Wood Release really is when he single-handedly grew an entire forest to build the foundation of Konohagakure. And we're talking the creation of a full breathing ecosystem. The wooden constructs from Wood Release could range from simple cages to complete houses with detailed architecture, all the way up to gigantic statues with dozens of arms, like the one he dropped during the legendary battle at the Valley of the End. But the truly terrifying power of Wood Release lies in its insane chakra manipulation and suppression. Hashirama could absorb and control an enemy's chakra just by making contact through his wooden constructs, turning even the terrifying tailed beasts into basically cute pets under his control. Wood Release also creates wood clones that are practically indistinguishable from the original and totally capable of using jutsu, making it the ultimate technique for both offense and reconnaissance. It's this insane combo of creation power, chakra control, and tactical versatility that made Wood Release one of the most legendary Kekkei Genkai ever. After Hashirama's death, countless attempts were made to reproduce this ability, and that alone shows how godly it was. Lava Release. Lava Release is the fusion of fire and earth, and honestly, it's one of the most unique Kekkei Genkai in the entire ninja world. While most Kekkei Genkai basically work the same way for everyone, Lava Release straight up manifests in completely different styles depending on genetics and how you train. Take Roshi, the Jinchuriki of Son Goku. This dude can pump out molten rock in both solid and liquid form, literally turning himself into a walking volcano that can absolutely melt through anything. Mei Terumi from the Hidden Mist is crazy skilled at using acidic mud, a type of acid that can straight up corrode even Susanoo armor. Over in Iwagakure, some ninjas whip out corrosive quicklime that burns enemies from the inside out, while Dodai from the Hidden Cloud creates vulcanized rubber that totally resists lightning release attacks. Every single variation is deadly in its own insane way. Kurotsuchi's volcanic ash can literally suffocate an entire army. The acidic versions can dissolve armor and weapons in just seconds, and the molten rock types can instantly vaporize enemies the moment they touch them. Boil Release is this super deadly combo of fire and water release, creating a Kekkei Genkai that can kill you in ways you honestly couldn't even imagine. Mei Terumi from the Hidden Mist showed just how terrifying the first form is with her corrosive vapor that has fully controlled acidity. Picture this: a gas-like acid that can rapidly fill up an entire closed-off space, literally dissolving anything it touches after just a brief exposure. And Mei can even tweak the exact acidity level, meaning she can totally choose between slowly torturing her enemies or instantly melting them into nothing. The second form comes from the Jinchuriki of Kokuo, who uses steam generated by heating chakra all the way to the boiling point. This steam pours straight out of the user's body, hot enough to melt the surroundings or blast them in any direction at incredible speed. It's the perfect mix of offense and mobility, basically turning the user into a steam-powered destruction machine that can strike and retreat in one insanely fluid movement. Storm Release. Storm Release is basically the perfect evolution of Lightning Release when you mix it with Water Release. It doesn't actually control real storms, like the name says. Instead, it creates beams of electricity that literally flow like water with insane precision. Darui straight up demonstrated how powerful Storm Release really is. Instead of firing off those traditional straight-line lightning bolts, Storm Release lets the user actually guide electrical energy along curved paths, making it basically impossible to dodge with normal methods. The electricity flows like liquid, bending around obstacles and striking targets from totally unexpected angles. The true strength of Storm Release lies in combining lightning's devastating power with water's adaptability. The user can generate continuous streams of electrical energy, keeping up sustained attacks instead of just single-hit lightning strikes. This makes Storm Release extremely effective for both one-on-one fights and crowd control, because these electrical beams can split and target multiple enemies at the same time while still maintaining their full destructive power. Magnet Release. Born from the combo of Wind and Earth Release, Magnet Release lets users generate magnetic force to totally manipulate different substances however they want. The third Kazeka Ge revolutionized combat with his iron sand techniques, modeling it after Shukaku's sand control but with way more deadly efficiency. Iron sand could be molded into razor-sharp weapons, or used to just crush targets with absolutely insane force. The fourth Kazeka Ge took it another step, developing gold dust specifically to counter Shukaku, since gold dust is heavier than normal sand. It could literally overpower a tailed beast's attacks. The real strength of Magnet Release is in total battlefield manipulation. Toroi from the Hidden Cloud proved this by magnetizing shuriken, turning every object they touched into magnets that pulled in other weapons. This created crazy chain reaction effects, making targets way easier to hit and basically transforming entire combat zones into massive magnetic traps. Even Shukaku itself flexes Magnet Release, combining it with cursed seal markings on its body to create insanely strong binding effects. Naruto later incorporated this power into his Rasengan, creating the Sage Art, Magnet Release Rasengan, with extra binding capabilities. And Gaara, inheriting Magnet Release from his father, manipulates dense metallic sand, either mixing it with his normal sand to fortify defenses, or using it on its own for absolutely precise attacks. Explosion Release. Explosion Release is basically pure destruction energy in the ninja world. This Kekkei Genkai is born from mixing earth and lightning release, creating explosive chakra that can literally blow up anything the user wants. Deidara showed just how insanely strong explosion release can be with his explosive clay techniques. He infused clay with explosive chakra, making bombs of all sizes and shapes, from tiny little birds for scouting to giant beasts that could totally level entire areas. Every single creation was a perfect weapon that could detonate on command. Then you got Gari from Iwa's Explosion Core, who took explosion release to a whole new level by mixing it with taijutsu. Every punch he threw could make his targets literally explode from the inside out, internal blasts that were basically impossible to defend against. On top of that, he could detonate the ground itself to whip up massive shockwaves of earth and debris, letting him completely dominate and control the battlefield terrain. Even though it's rare, the raw destructive power of this Kekkei Genkai makes it absolutely one of the scariest forces in combat. Scorch Release. Scorch Release is one of those Kekkei Genkai that kills in a terrifying way. Pakura from Sunagakure showed just how insanely dangerous this power really is. It works by mixing the intense heat of fire release with the concentrated airflow of wind release. The result is a ridiculously penetrating type of heat that bypasses external defenses and goes straight for the moisture inside the human body. Victims don't die from burns or physical trauma. They literally get dehydrated to death from the inside out. The scariest thing about Scorch Release is how instant and unavoidable it is. Once the technique activates, there's basically no way to stop the dehydration process. Even Sasuke and Naruto showed how wild this combo can get when they merged fire and wind jutsu, creating devastating blasts that could wipe out multiple enemies at once. However, Scorch Release has a weakness against water release, meaning hydration-based defenses can maybe counter it. But outside of that, this Kekkei Genkai is absolutely brutal. Dust Release. Dust Release is basically the absolute peak of destruction power in the entire ninja world. It's the only known Kekkei Tota, which means it needs 3 nature transformations combined: earth, wind, and fire. It can disintegrate stuff on a molecular level, literally erasing targets out of existence. The activation process starts when the user forms small 3-dimensional chakra constructs, like cubes or cones, in their hands. Those shapes then expand and launch forward at crazy speed, and anything that passes through them gets completely erased. Onoki flexed this power countless times, deleting multiple enemies at once without leaving even a trace behind. Fighting a dust release user is usually hopeless, because how do you compete with someone who can literally wipe you from existence? The only real counter is another dust release user, which just turns the battle into a stalemate where only raw skill and experience decide who wins. Yin Release. Yin Release is one of the deepest mysteries in the entire ninja world. Unlike the 5 basic elemental natures, Yin Release taps into pure spiritual energy to control imagination and literally create form out of nothing. This thing is basically the foundation of creation itself in the shinobi universe. First, you gotta understand the concept of spiritual energy versus physical energy. Physical energy builds tangible stuff like fire or water, while spiritual energy, the core of Yin Release, can bring ideas and imagination into reality. The Uchiha clan, as descendants of Hagoromo, naturally inherited Yin Release skills, but most of them didn't fully flex that potential, since they focused more on their Sharingan abilities. Meanwhile, the Nara clan took Yin Release in a totally different direction, using spiritual energy to manipulate shadows, proving this Kekkei Genkai can honestly manifest in countless crazy ways. Most genjutsu actually fall under Yin Release too, since they use spiritual energy to twist and control the opponent's perception of reality. Yang Release. Yang Release is basically the counterpart to Yin Release, working in the opposite way but absolutely just as powerful. While Yin controls imagination and form, Yang Release uses raw physical energy to control vitality and grant life to stuff that had none before, actually giving life force to things that already exist. Think of it as pure life-giving energy in its cleanest form. Yang's physical energy can literally breathe life into lifeless things. The Senju clan, descendants of Hagoromo, naturally inherited strong Yang Release tendencies. But just like the Uchiha with Yin, most Senju members didn't fully tap into that insane potential. Meanwhile, the Akimichi clan went all practical with it, using physical energy to massively increase their body size, basically multiplying their life force to expand their physical presence. Naruto's link to Yang Release through the Nine-Tails Chakra showed off some absolutely wild phenomena. When he went into Nine-Tails Chakra mode, dead wood around him literally sprouted into full-blown trees because of the overflowing Yang energy giving it life. And later, the 6 Paths Yang power from Hagoromo, marked by that sun symbol on his right palm, was the ultimate flex, the literal pinnacle of life-giving energy. Yin-Yang Release. Yin-Yang Release is the absolute peak of chakra control in the ninja world. It's literally the foundation of every single jutsu, because all techniques use both spiritual energy and physical energy, the 2 core components of chakra itself. Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the Sage of 6 Paths, showed the ultimate potential of Yin-Yang Release through the creation of all things technique. The process works in 2 insanely complex steps. First, Yin release creates form out of pure nothingness, and then Yang release actually gives that form real life. The result? The nine-tailed beasts were born from 10 tails chakra, beings with their own consciousness, completely created through pure energy manipulation. When Naruto inherited a fraction of Hagoromo's power, he unlocked healing abilities that were absolutely insane. He could stabilize Gai's life force after opening the 8 gates, restore Kakashi's lost eye after decades, and even literally pull Obito back from the brink of death. Still, Yin-yang release has its limits. It couldn't counter the all-killing ash bones, proving that even the ultimate power totally has boundaries. Truth-seeking balls are the combat application of yin-yang release, working on both defense and offense. These orbs can completely erase the effects of any ninjutsu, forming an absolute defense when surrounding the user, or turning into weapons that break through literally anything. And most importantly, Kaguya's ceiling was only possible when Sasuke's yin power combined with Naruto's yang power. That showed that separated. The powers have limits, but combined they create a force strong enough to defeat the progenitor of chakra itself. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.